Pranams to the avatar manifest in every one of you. Thank you very much, Hiteshji. Many things one should learn from Hiteshji, as I see him addressing all his communications, starting with a greeting, Pranams to the avatar manifest in you. It's a great feeling of recognizing the manifestation of divinity of the other person. So shall I start my speech? The greetings, pranams to the avatar manifest in every one of you. The theme of Yug Parivartan Summit 2022: change the current ecosystem to become a golden age Swarnayug ecosystem. The topic I have chosen is measuring, recording, and tracking the societal changes.
Measuring, recording and tracking of societal changes. Jayaraman Rajah Iyer. Copyright Jayaraman Rajah Iyer. All rights reserved. No part of this podcast and the resultant publication may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopy, recording, or any other, except for brief quotations, not to exceed 250 words, without the prior permission of the author.
Measuring, recording, and tracking of societal changes. The theme of Yug Parivartan Summit 2022. What three things you think should change for the ecosystem to become a golden age ecosystem, Swarnayug ecosystem? Three things that should change for the golden age ecosystem are: establish the manifestation of divinity in each avatar scientifically. 2. Optimize the energy flows in each avatar for societal good. 3. Establish knowledge base for each avatar by measuring, recording, and tracking the societal changes. Noble laureate Richard Feynman says, religion is a culture of faith, science a culture of doubt. When the doubt is cleared scientifically, faith is restored. What follows is the emergent property phenomena, which I would like you to listen to another Nobel laureate, Jayaraman. Super.
So we don't have to assume these principles as separate metaphysical postulates. They follow from the fundamental theory. They are what we call emergent properties. You don't need something more to get something more. That's what emergence means. Life can emerge from physics and chemistry, plus a lot of accidents. The human mind can arise from neurobiology and a lot of accidents. The way the chemical bond arises from physics and certain accidents. It doesn't diminish the importance of these subjects to know that they follow from more fundamental things plus accidents. That's a general rule. And it's critically important to realize that. You don't need something more in order to get something more. People keep asking that when they read my book, The Quark and the Jaguar, and they say, isn't there something more beyond what you have there? Presumably they mean something supernatural. Anyway, there isn't. You don't need something more to explain something more. Thank you very much.
There's a book I wrote, Corporate Citizenship and Sustainability, Measuring Intangible, Fiscal and Ethical Assets. An inspiration from Immanuel Kant, 1724 to 1804, nearly 300 years back, who raised a question of whether a science of metaphysics with a logical structure, like that of the well-established mathematical and natural sciences, was possible. Yes, it is made possible by defining and measuring intangible. We are in quest of establishing the manifestation of divinity in each avatar scientifically. I bring now some of the excerpts from my book. The chapter 2 of the book is Who Are You? It's a very interesting chapter wherein I quote Carl Sagan: "The total number of stars in the universe is larger than all the grains of sand on all the beaches of the planet Earth." It's an amazing, really. In addition, you look at the Shiva's statue. Is there in CERN, Geneva, and normally I get the copyrighted information system properly adhered to while you publish a book, just for those who want to publish a book with authority. The scientists at CERN, Geneva, are attempting to investigate whether equal amounts of matter and antimatter were created in the Big Bang and what happened to the missing antimatter. Is quite an amazing one for me. I mean, you have at the time of Big Bang antimatter and matter. The matter is what is the grains of sand on all the beaches of the planet Earth. That is what this matter is all about in terms of stars and whatnot. The same quantum was there at the time of Big Bang on antimatter. All that antimatter is now missing. Another aspect of chapter 2: who are you? This is where we come to our own senses, our own brains, all from the missing antimatter to such a great quantity of matter. We come to our own brain. Sebastian Seung, professor, Princeton Neurosciences Institute, talks of the mapping of the brain, what he calls connectome. It would take a few generations to map all the possibilities of the neurons' connectomes. David Eagleman, neuroscientist, Stanford University. If you take a cubic centimeter of brain tissue, there are as many connections between its neurons and synapses as there are stars in the galaxy. Talks of the sheer number of such connections in a single brain, existing in such density that it bankrupts our language. We have to invent new types of mathematics to even address this. This we have to note down what is our real capability. Deriving a conclusion. Senses. When we analyze Pascal's The Three Stages of Mental Evolution, senses are related to instinctive reaction. That would wonder about Carl Sagan's sand grains analogy, but would stop with that. To reason. We reason out, rising from the empirical to the dialectical stage, when we argue and derive conclusions from observed data. That is what Large Hadron Collider is doing at CERN. 3. Intuition. Individuals of intellectual value arising out of the intuitive knowledge, or at a more mature stage, who obtain a synthetic and intuitive knowledge of reality. But intuition, though it includes the testimony of will and feeling, is never fully attained without strenuous intellectual effort. It cannot dispense with the discipline of reason and the technique of proof. Conclusion. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Martin Rees. In a lighter vein, when a thief empties a jewelry shop and sells to several people, police investigation gets several leads, finding where the missing jewelry are. They do trace them. Antimatter, when collides with matter, forms a pure energy. That was the purpose. Human mind has the same characteristics. When effort taken, the very purpose of human existence is to convert matter into energy. Progress of corporate history since the Industrial Revolution has been an enormous growth of freedom of enterprise, economic prosperity, innovation, technical and intellectual advancement. Infinite number of man-made objects on planet Earth are the handiwork of human effort. Correspondingly, human mind's capability is proven by the infinite number of neurons and synapses connective capacity in such density in each person. Comparing the infinite missing antimatter, a single human brain is a match, a good, able match indeed. Conclusion. So I can safely conclude, one, antimatter is not missing, as it is implanted in every one of the avatars. Antimatter is within us and matter outside of it. So triggering antimatter is the effort the avatar puts in to optimize one's own energy force. That energy force is the constant with a fixed value in a specified mathematical context, enabling the accomplishment of infinite succession of finite purposes by controlling each goal. So I end my chapter 2 thus: you are the constant, you are the antimatter, you are the effort, you are the intangible. Now let me add, you are the avatar manifest in you. Now that we have settled who you are and what am I, let me take you to the next stage. That will have, number 1, what is our current ecosystem? Number 2, how to integrate social, environmental and economic development goals under a single canopy of 17 SDGs. Number 3, how to establish knowledge base for each avatar by measuring, recording and tracking the societal changes.
The Fourth Industrial Revolution, what it means, how to respond. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman, WEF, World Economic Forum.
Klaus Schwab's article is revolutionary by itself. I will have a look at that first, second and third industrial revolution, and when we are at the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution, based on what he says. To quote Klaus Schwab, the first industrial revolution used water and steam power to mechanize production. Reality check. The first industrial revolution enabled colonization more secure and profitable. Territories gained by any means, ending up with the World War I. The second industrial revolution, Klaus Schwab says, the second used electric power to create mass production. Reality check. The second used electric power to create mass production, enabling great scientific inventions as well as mass destruction. Electric gas chambers and bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ending up with the World War II. The third industrial revolution, to quote Klaus Schwab, the third used electronics and information technology to automate production. Reality check. The third used electronics and information technology to automate production as well as tampering with the voting machines, toppling the governments, installing leaders of their choice, assisting biological warfare, ending up with the COVID-19 disaster and messing up with the countries like Afghanistan and Ukraine. Next, the fourth industrial revolution. We are at the cusp of it. Klaus Schwab says Iyer 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, is of two kinds. One, advanced digital technology, and two, societal changes. I'm happy that he included the societal changes. I'll come to that. The advanced digital technology comprises of various factors. One is cloud computing, big data, cybersecurity, autonomous robots, augmented reality, IoT, Internet of Things, and additive manufacturing. Let us summarize a reality check of Iyer 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. Number 1. IT industry without a regulatory body framework is a Frankenstein monster let loose but untamed. IT industry leaders cannot be silent over this issue. 2. The first, the second, the third industrial revolutions, an account of ignoring what the society wants, is a total unmitigated disaster. 3. CO2 emission started from the steam engine, fossil fuel producer subsidies with the advent of finding the oil, and the consumer subsidies since electrification. Next, Project SEED, social, environmental, and economic development goals. Restructuring database. The entire world data under a single canopy of 17 SDGs to be structured. Integrate 17 SDGs with GNH and GDP. Looking at it, the SEED 1, Project SEED. Project SEED under social will focus on these 5 policy issue areas as per Global Council for Happiness and Well-being, GCHW. SEED 1, social, under GCHW, health, education, work, personal happiness, and cities, will take care of number 1, health, goal number 3 of SDG reference. Number 2, education, goal number 4. Number 3, work, goal number 8. Number 4, personal happiness, goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 5, goal number 10, and goal number 16. And cities, number 5 in GCHW, will take into account goal number 11. So there are 9 goals of SDG and classified in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of GCHW issue areas. Similarly, C2 environmental, C3 economic development are being classified under SDG references, within which 2 environmental connect to the social GCHW 5 issue areas. Goal number 6, goal number 13, goal number 14, goal number 15 will be environmental 4 issue areas for SDG reference. And 3, economic development, again connect to the social GCHW issue areas. Goal number 7, goal number 9, goal number 12, goal number 17. The total number of SDG references are 17, classified under 3 social, environmental, and economic development, 9, 4, 4, again connected to GCHW. The importance of GCHW is very, very crucial in bringing the societal changes to be along with the economic development. I'd like to take you to this UN Report 2012 by Louis Coyantes, Happiness Towards a Holistic Approach to Development. During that particular report, Louis Coyantes made a mention about the surveys, particularly on the GNH, Gross National Happiness Index criteria, as not credible. At that point of time, he said only the weird countries are being taken into account. That is, Western, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic countries. In 2022, 10 years later, the things are in no way different from what it was about in 2012. They take a survey of about 10,000 people, possibly of 1.3 billion of India, arrive at some figure 140 or 150 out of 157 countries. Sri Lanka now is sinking, is better than India, is about 120 I suppose. But it makes no difference as far as those readers are concerned, because you look at it today, you are on 140, and the next year you are being told about 129, and the same day you put it in the waste paper basket. It's not credible at all even now, and I wonder how much of amount is being spent in preparing this GCHW survey findings is not credible. but continue to do what we do in this current ecosystem, which I have seen, first, second, third, and revolutions, is quite incredible, actually. Now, Louis Quinta also, it was a nice report in my opinion. He made a mention about recognize that GDP is not the only indicator of well-being and integrate economic and social policies. The fact is that economic and social policies were not able to continue together from 2012 or at any point of time. This is an area which is what I am bringing up here for the next golden age ecosystem, for which I bring up a CRIM technology, which is designed to integrate social and development and economic development goals and measure, record, and track the societal changes. This is the one which I have taken note of, and we got to bring it up. To summarize, Project SEED: build world data architecture 944, build combine GCHW parameters with 944, prepare JNH GDP combo report from the first soldier level, and then I'll take you to the CRIM technology. CRIM technology. CRIM is an acronym for corporate governance, risk management, earnings, accounting quality, and management quality. CRIM technology is based on IBCM, an activity-based cost management, copyrighted. The theme activity has a cost incidence, whereas inactivity a cost consequence. Measure cost consequence now. The cost consequence is the major problem in the current ecosystem, where the cost of inaction is tremendous. It's very important that CRIM technology that provides the means and ways of zeroing on the cost of inaction is going to be to go for the golden age ecosystem. In activity-based cost management, IBCM functions on the following 5 principles. Principle number 1, what gets measured gets managed. The first chapter, chapter 1, is on causality. Number of cases have been identified where HP autonomy and chase offer by Volkswagen, Carillon, Island Airways, in terms of billions of dollars, and how these things are being managed is a big question. There's one of the major issues with regard to, while we are looking at the ecosystem which is prevalent today, the first, the second, and the third industrial revolution is a total failure. It's because there is no societal changes being looked into. It's going to be very important. I'll tell you the reason why it's a failure step by step. The most important aspect of it, we have to get to correct that issue. That is where the CRIM technology comes, and that is where who gets measured, what gets measured and gets managed. Who gets measured is also right. Who gets measured, that is the most important thing. I'll come to that next. Principle number 2, measure qualitative elements of management. In an organization, there are 170 open-ended process blocks. 12 are quantitative, that we show in P&L and balance sheet. The rest 158 are qualitative elements, such as code of good conduct, the code of business principles, insider trading, conflict of interest, conflict of personal interest, conflict of conscience, anti-corruption, etc. They are never measured. These need measuring, recording, and tracking, as simple as that. The current ecosystem must change. Principle number 3, corporate autonomy structure. What we have today as organization structure is a 2-dimensional spreadsheet organization. We start with a cash book and one clerk. As and when operations multiply, we add one column, purchases, sales, manufacturing, etc. Nothing more. It stops with that. Only cash transactions. A rest of corporate 158 quality elements are separated out but not measured. So I bring the 3-dimensional corporate autonomy structure in the same manner as the atomic structure, aligned with nature. Martin Rees, the royal astronomer, talking about the aliens, says, though they may come from planet Zog and have 7 tentacles, they would be made of similar atoms to us. Einstein says, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. Whereas corporate and governments are the only species in the entire universe, that do not follow the laws of physics. Corporate atomic structure fulfills what Immanuel Kant had asked for, a science of metaphysics with a logical structure, like that of a well-established mathematical and natural sciences. Policies, the board, the protons. People, the society, neutrons. And practices, the CO team, the electrons. Just as the atomic structure, the board and the society form a nucleus. The CO team spins around the nucleus just as the electron does in an atom. Electron spins around the nucleus at nearly 3/4 the speed of light. But the nucleus gives the stability. Same for the corporate nucleus, giving stability to the organization that the CO team does not go astray. Benchmarks and metrics follow the nature. Like hydrogen converts portion of it to helium in a precise and stately manner. Same for the metrics, like Panchabhuta. 6 stages of transformation from nothing to a substance or quality. I'd like my viewers and listeners to look into this transformation, 6 stages of transformation. It's a linear expansion out of nothing. So when the innovation comes, and then comes the idea. From idea, it is being brought to the creative process in the substance or quality. For which you got to do that for everything and set up strategy plan 2030, convert CAGR to CDGR. What is that in 2030? Bring it down to today's daily growth rate. And strategy plan 2030, particularly the last but one, the formulation, how you are going to set it up. It includes all the 170 process blocks. With the result, you are allocating to each and every person within your company. Companies of 5 people or the company of about 500,000 people, allocate the work pattern in such a manner that you are in a position to bring the action process most conveniently. It is being executed. It's like playing like a ODI, that is daily in cricket. You set a target and you reach the target. Each person, each team member, they are yoked together but work independently. That is how the project seed framework works, and is about same thing, 944, but brought down to a single task, and that is how it is being done. Let us have a look at it, how it is being done. Principle number 4, return on intangible. Principle number 4 is one of the outstanding principle which replaces completely our return on investment process, which is a bane of our current ecosystem. Remove that. Remove completely the return on investment. Only for specific cases, individually, if you want to do the DCF flow, etc., do that. Use it for the purpose of financial calculation, nothing beyond it. As an organization, you got to go to return on intangible. Return on intangible is equal to action or inaction, the numerator, divided by intangible, which is a binary value of every action or every inaction if there is. Intangible is what you are, your avatar. You are the denominator, you are the constant. 7.5-8 billion people are the same, common. They have the equal capability. So the denominator is 1. That is the power base. Numerator is 1 or 0. So the binary value comes for return on intangible for every task you undertake. Every avatar, as we establish, has such capabilities that a Potter and a nuclear scientist has a common value of 1 relative to the work they are capable of accomplishing, the task assigned to them. So the denominator is 1 for all, numerator 1 or zeros as to action or inaction, turning out a binary value of 1 or 0. Then I'm coming to the matter and energy. This is the fundamental principles of physics, and it is very important, and it is simplifying the process of management system. It's a simple management of it is not different from a nuclear organization or a oil company or EV or going beyond everything. No, it's very simple. Energy. Law 1. Energy is liberated matter. We show on a P&L and balance sheet. Law 2. Matter is energy waiting to happen. Raw materials go down to finished goods stores to NPAs. They're all stuck here in law number 2. They're all waiting to be pushed out to law number 1. Law number 3 is when antimatter collides with matter, it forms a pure energy. That is to say, push law number 2 to law number 1. The equation of return on intangible is law number 2 divided by law number 3 equal to law number 1. The 3 principles of emergent property, according to Nobel laureate Murray Gell-Mann, are as follows: conformability of nature to herself, applicability of simplicity, and 3. unreasonable effectiveness. With corporate atomic structure, the first principle, conformability of nature to herself, is met. 2. The applicability of simplicity. It is ensured by limiting the entire management process to only 2: the creative process and the action process. The second principle of emergent property, the applicability of criterion of simplicity, is met. Unreasonable effectiveness. In return on intangible, covering the entire gamut of management with a single formula, the unreasonable effectiveness principle is met. Unreasonable effectiveness is the art of resolving a paradox with the least number of mathematical calculations. I would like to point out at this point of time, as the ecologist Alan Savory says, the best of the candle makers would not have thought of electricity. For the golden age of ecosystem, fresh thinking is what I have given. Change the denominator from investment figure to an avatar running the show. For companies, it is a corporate yoga, fit as a fiddle. Do not be too much focused on the candle making. Think of the electricity. Here you can see table 7.1, index of inactivity by process area, followed by table 7.2, index of inactivity by resource area. In process area, you focus on CREAM, corporate governance, risk management, earnings, accounting quality, and management quality. In inactivity based cost management, this inactivity is the most important aspect of bringing it up. Is a matrix. The next one is by resource area and how you do that by each team member. So if you have about 500,000 workforce or 1 million, doesn't matter. You are able to do that by connecting to the as we have given the project seed framework and tally of individual tasks by return on intangible. In this case, you will see 2007 to 2019 being calculated for Hindustan Unilever Limited, and what they have performed, the 34.19% or the rating of 3 which they are getting. Optimum level is 5, and the rating of 3 again by resource area, that will be the important aspect of same 34.19 distributed to the denominator, the individuals. This is going to be very significant in our approach of utilizing the people. 3 is okay, optimum is 5. That is our principle. Optimizing the efforts put in by as I said in the law 2, what you are looking at is law 1 is 3, getting the rating. Law 2 is energy waiting to happen. That will be 2. So 2 upon 5, so 40% is yet to be completed. So that will be the most important aspect of changing, and the purpose is to to bring to the optimum level. At the optimum level, what you are going to bring about a complete change. Not one single person is going to sit there forever at doing nothing, and they are all going to optimize themselves energy, and they are capable of doing it. That will make a huge difference. If you are in a 100 crore company today, and in no time you should be in a position to reach out to about even 1,000 crores or even 10,000 crores. It's a very important aspect of utilizing your people. Next, I am giving gross state domestic product at current prices. I did some work for Gujarat state domestic product at the instance of Prakash Varmara, who was then the chairman of the organization. And if you look at it, we are looking at the CAGR for 2012 to 2018, and then we are extrapolating CAGR to 2024 to reach a level of $1.5 trillion. If you look at the various industry groups, all of them are analyzed, calculated, and major problem with any state government or the central government or even IMF or even World Bank is a delayed data. It's a minimum 3 years old, and you can't do anything about it with your current ecosystem that you have. You got to change that. What is important that we arrive at here is EPP. It's the most important thing in a state like Gujarat state. You have about say 20 million workforce, agriculture to mining to manufacturing to everything, and all of them are being brought in by the principle of return on intangible. And this is the one which I've been hopping upon, measuring, recording, and tracking the societal changes. This will be not simply your P&L. When you say cream, your cream includes all the GCHW parameters with the 5 criteria on the issue areas that we have looked into. These 5 areas is going to be brought into this 944. 9 for social, 4 for environmental, and 4 for economic development goals. Combined together, you are able to identify the beneficiaries who are the workforce, and the performers or also the workforce is in terms of combining these two of GNH and GDP data is being calculated from the foot soldier level. It would be good, and have a look at it. It's nice. Thanks. For the 3 things that should change for the golden age ecosystem, we said 3 important aspects. 1, establish the manifestation of divinity in each avatar scientifically. I think we have succeeded in doing it. Number 2, optimize the energy flows in each avatar for societal good. That's what we discussed. For each and every individual company, when your rating is 3 and optimized level is 5, whether you have 5 people or 500,000 people or 1 million people, what is very important in this particular aspect is that we had discussed that a team of 5 are yoked together but work independently. And if you take a particular company, there is no company rating. It's only the individuals who get rated, and selectively, not selectively, fully, and that becomes the company rating. So it is purely the energy force of each avatar that we are looking at for optimization. Third, we said establish knowledge base for each avatar by measuring, recording, and tracking the societal change. That's what we set to do by EPP, a 1.5 trillion economy which we had proposed for Gujarat state is feasible by looking into each and every individual. Mind you, when we say that numerator is action or inaction. Numerator actually is infinite, whereas the denominator is finite. There are only about 7.5 billion people out there, whereas the numerator we have amazing number of quantification. So we can very easily do that. It is not a problem whatsoever. So I would like companies particularly to come forward and learn the process for utilizing your own people. That could, as I said, can take your company from X today to 10X to 100X. Have a nice day.